Well, thank you for joining us for our Lift sessions this Sunday evening. Maybe it's been a little simplistic to take the month of November and highlight the theme of Thanksgiving, but it seems to me sometimes, at least in my life, when everything around me is talking about Thanksgiving and we have decorations and meals and family gatherings, that it's easier for me to pay attention to what it is I need to be doing spiritually along the same lines. And when I think of Thanksgiving, it seems to me there are three particular keys that are necessary for it to become a lifestyle for us. The first is I have to open our eyes and be able to see. Lots of things go right past us every day and we never even notice, we never sense them at all. And so using those God-given senses of sight and hearing and touch, we need to be open to seeing the blessings of God. And then there has to be appreciation. It's not enough to just be able to list 100 things that we ought to be thankful for. But thanksgiving or appreciation comes from a heart that understands the real value of a particular gift. And I believe it's a deepening process. I think as children, it's hard to appreciate parents, but when we become parents, all of a sudden our parents and their sacrifices seem to mean more to us. And it certainly is true even with the losses that we experience in life. You lose something or you have to do without it for a while, makes us more aware of. So it's a deepening process. And then thirdly, I think thanks living has the idea of being able to find ways to say thank you, to be able to express it. We sense it, we feel it, and we share it. So tonight we'll be exploring that aspect of it. And probably immediately you think of the story that Jesus encounters in the 17th chapter of the book of Luke. And we'll simply pick up reading at verse 11. While Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem, he was passing between Samaria and Galilee. And as he entered a village, 10 leprous men stood at a distance from him. And they raised their voices, saying, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." And when he saw them, he said to them, "Go and show yourselves to the priests." And as they were going, they were cleansed. Now one of them, when he saw that he had been healed, turned back, glorifying God with a loud voice. And he fell on his face at his feet, giving thanks to him. And he was a Samaritan. And Jesus answered and said, "Were there not 10 cleansed? But the 9, where are they? Was no one found who returned to give glory to God except for this foreigner?" And he said to him, "Stand up and go. Your faith has made you well." There are lots of lessons in the story, but I want to highlight the one that has to do with Thanksgiving. There are 10 individuals who were cleansed of their leprosy. A tremendous need that they had, a physical health need, but also a societal need, because those who had leprosy did cry out from a distance. They couldn't come back into town. They couldn't be with their families. And so what they're asking is not for a little blessing. They're asking for a giant blessing. Jesus, Master, cleanse us, make us well. And Jesus provides that avenue, and they're all cleansed, but only one comes back. Have you ever wondered why the one did come back? Or maybe more importantly, why did the other 9 not take time to return? Were they too ecstatic, too busy, other obligations? Just didn't think it was necessary? I don't know why, but they didn't. I'm also interested, as you read the story, how does Jesus feel about their not coming back? Now, I don't want to impose emotions that are not specifically stated of Jesus, but when he says, "Were there not 9 others who were cleansed? Where are they?" implies to me that Jesus kind of expected others would have been equally as appreciative. But for whatever reason, they didn't return. You know, our giving of thanks has 2 broad categories. One of those is what it is that we offer to God for his great blessings. Psalmist says in Psalm 9 and verse 1, "I will give thanks to the Lord with all my heart. I will tell of your wonders." And then in Psalm 100 and verse 4, "Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and bless His name. The very reality of coming into the presence of God seems to demand at least a portion of that presence that we offer, the prayers that we offer, worship we participate in, is that they are periods of thanksgiving for the blessings that He has provided to us. Now, these two areas are very neatly connected, as Paul writes to the Romans in chapter 1 and verse 8, and then again as he writes to the Corinthians in the first chapter. But listen to the Romans passage, because it truly serves as a connection between these two. He says, "First, I thank my God through Jesus Christ for you all, because your faith is being proclaimed throughout the whole world." Now, he expresses his thanksgiving to God for these Christians that have connection to the city of Rome. But he's writing the letter to the church in Rome. Same thing's going to be true when he writes 1 Corinthians in chapter 1. He's going to be thanking God for every remembrance that he has of these Christian folks that are associated with the city of Corinth. But he's writing the letter to the Corinthians. So it's a double message, isn't it? I want you all to know I'm deeply appreciative of who you are and what you've done and how you've played out in my life, so much so that I constantly thank God for the blessing of our relationships together. So tonight we're going to spend some time reflecting on how we can better say thank you to the people that are a part of our life. How do we express appreciation for parents? The Bible has a variety of words. It talks about honor your parents, providing for the needs of your parents, or saying thank you to our parents. The individual who was so influential in my life when I was in high school, probably from about freshman year through my freshman year in college, was David East. He was our preacher at Main Street in Springfield. Had an opportunity this month, a couple of weeks ago, to stop by and visit him at a senior living facility here in Nashville. He's almost 95 years of age. And I wanted to be able to say thank you to him, and I wanted to convey to him how much his influence meant to me and how much gratitude that I felt. Who is it for you that you need to think about saying thank you to, or finding some means by which you can communicate how much you care about or how deeply you've been touched by what they've done? So I invite you to join in the discussion this evening, wherever it is that you are, and think about ways that we can better say thank you to those important people in our lives. And again, thank you for joining us as a part of our Lift ministry at the Old Hickory Church of Christ.